My spiritual walk with Jesus has felt like it's been thriving in most areas except one. I knew my prayer life was lacking, and I started to feel guilty and convicted about it. Prayer should be our first response, not our last resort. It's a daily conversation with God that is meant to surrender our life, ask for guidance, and proclaim our trust and faith in Him. But if I'm being honest, I was spiritually lazy and felt intimidated by the thought of praying correctly. I was overwhelmed at the thought of praying instead of looking forward to it. I wanted it not just to be something I do every now and then, but truly something that could become second nature and a daily habit I enjoyed. I knew this was something that had to happen in order to deepen my relationship with Christ. It was during a corporate fast with my church that the Holy Spirit was nudging me to focus on developing this new habit during that time. If you're a mama in childbearing years who is either pregnant, nursing, or has young children who's ever wondered about fasting, this video is for you. I'm sharing my day in the life experience as a nursing mom who is figuring out what works in this season of life without fasting from food exclusively. My fasting options may be different, but I know God knows my heart seeking that deeper connection with Him. My fasting has to be modified away from completely cutting out food, but I want to mention that fasting is not something optional that we can simply opt out of. In Matthew chapter 6, verses 16 to 18, it says, "And when, not if, you fast, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces, that their fasting may be seen by others. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, that your fasting may not be seen by others, but by your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you." Throughout this video, not only will you see a realistic depiction of what it's like to fast and pray as a young homemaker with young children, but also you'll hear some key takeaways about how fasting and prayer is currently changing my life and my spiritual walk. My son has been very adamant about joining me in anything I do in the kitchen, which I personally don't mind. But yeah, he's also been wanting to drink all of my smoothies, so we are going to make a pretty large batch for us to share today. So I am using a plant-based protein shake or protein powder. Okay. One. Let's do. Let's do 2.5. Thank you, son. Here.
That's Daddy's cup.
Cute. I wasn't sure how much I would be able to push my body because I am still nursing, but my baby is nearly 9 months old, so he is having solids, and I just wasn't sure just exactly how much I would be able to sacrifice my food. So I knew that I was going to be cutting out caffeine, and I was also just going to try and be more mindful with not indulging in foods that I am craving, things that I would usually have out of comfort. So I have coffee every single morning. It's a very decadent and pleasurable experience for me, so I knew that was one thing that I was going to have to give up. Yeah. Let me go grab my baby real fast. Another consideration is that I am a big breakfast person, and I eat a lot of eggs for my breakfast. So that was also something that I wanted to see how I could go without having a full breakfast, and that's why I've opted out for my protein shake. So I'm still consuming something, especially liquids, because as I mentioned, I don't want to compromise my milk supply. So it's been working out really well, actually, because I spend quite a bit of time in the kitchen in the morning specifically for breakfast, not only to prep my breakfast, but my toddlers as well. So with those two combined, just being able to sacrifice my own breakfast, it doesn't take that long to make his breakfast. I usually batch make a ton of oatmeal banana pancakes for him, and I freeze them whenever I don't have any freshly made. So that's what I've been doing this week, and it's worked out really well. He also loves peanut butter and banana, so those are super simple breakfasts that don't require any cooking really. Since I don't have to do any cooking, I don't really need to do any cleaning. I was able to basically clean up all of the kitchen yesterday, which is nice. There are clean dishes that need to get put away, but other than that, there's nothing that accumulates in the morning. So that gives me time to sit in my word and start the actual intentional time. And
Mommy.
Yeah.
Mommy.
Yeah. So because I don't have to deal with the kitchen, that's when I have intentional time that I can spend in my word and just start that intentional time of prayer.
Mommy.
I don't do this every single time, but I do think that it is powerful to start your study sessions in prayer, just asking the Holy Spirit to reveal to you whatever it is that He wants you to receive, and just for keen attention to detail to the word and complete understanding on how it's relevant to your life and how to apply it. I also wanted to mention that, as you had previously heard, I'm sure, my very vocal toddler and how he loves to get my attention, I have discovered a few ways to give myself a little bit more focus time in the Word when I have two very young children. So one of them is to do it while they're eating. I think because I was fasting at this time, I did not actually sit down while he was eating, but that's one of the times where he's a lot more focused and I can just more or less sit and read. The other strategy that I like to do is to give him something that he loves to play with, which he was playing blocks with his little brother, and then Play-Doh is another great option. So if you are looking for a little bit more quiet time and intentional opportunity to read your Bible, give your children something that you know that they will enjoy. As you see, I'm still having to get up and be interrupted by one thing or another. I just choose to let them be entertained by toys and each other. I very rarely offer my children any screen time, so this week was not an exception, even though I wanted to have more dedicated study time. So I actually don't think I had mentioned it yet, but I chose to be fasting from a few different things. The first thing was caffeine. It's one thing that I truly, truly love, so I wanted to make sure that I sacrifice something that I genuinely look forward to every single day as a way to die to my flesh. The other things was any form of secular entertainment. I was not partaking in any sweets of any kind. I honestly really did try and push my body as much as I could to not be eating, but I am nursing on demand, which makes it pretty difficult because I feel like I am constantly hungry and constantly thirsty. So this was definitely something out of my comfort zone, I would say, and I will share my thoughts at the very end of this video on how I feel about fasting from food as a pregnant or nursing mother and whether I recommend it. So as you can hear, I'm often just interrupted by them asking random things, wanting new toys, and that's totally fine. So it is currently 8:52, and we'll see how long I am able to read. while keeping them entertained. All right, it is 9:18. I just finished reading the book of Daniel, and I just, as I was reading, would highlight things that stood out to me. So now that I've written it in completion, I can go back and read a little bit more in depth during those things that I highlighted, and then the study notes, and then using my Bible dictionary to do a little bit more in depth. But it is time for my baby to take his first nap. So this is kind of like the first official break from my Bible time. And of course, throughout that time, I don't even know how long I was reading for, but I had to stop and, you know, help with conflict solution. Yes, honey. So anyway, it's a little bit of a mess over here. I know you're tired. So we'll check back later whenever I sit back down. They're nice dinosaurs.
Where's the dinosaur?
We're dancing. Let's
go to church.
Okay.
Let's go to the truck.
Okay, they're going to church in the truck.
Okay, walk.
Kelly's gonna walk.
Yeah. Let's go to kids' church.
Okay, let's go to kids' church.
To kids' church.
Okay, we're at kids' church.
Let's dance. Let's dance.
Let's dance? Okay, what song should we sing? The fruit of the spirit's not a coconut. The Bible. That's the book for me.
Let's go, bye-bye. Let's go. Let's go to church again.
We're going to church again?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so last night was really rough. My baby kept waking up literally like every hour. It was insane. Luckily, my toddler's sleeping through the night right now, but there was a time when both of them were really struggling with their sleep. Anyway, just to say that I'm feeling really exhausted right now, and since I'm not having coffee, Ezra, that's for mommy. I'm honestly getting a headache at the moment, and I feel hungry, but I'm gonna have my body armor because I haven't had any water yet, but I'm feeling really dehydrated. And I know that body armor helps with my milk supply, so I always like to have that in stock in my house. Alright, so now that I have had some intentional time with Ezra playing, I'm about to enter into a time of prayer just while we're hanging out at home. Obviously, when you are taking care of young children, you don't have quiet time necessarily to just sit and pray. I have been struggling with my prayer life, which is why that's one thing that I really want to have breakthrough during this fast. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I feel like I get overwhelmed with the thought of prayer just because there is like I don't know, a proper formal way of doing it at times. Like, I know that it's just a conversation with God, but sometimes I want to give him, you know, like the utmost effort into doing it, and I feel like I just always fall short with how I pray. And yeah, I just want to, I don't know, have some sort of revelation about the true heart behind prayer, and just not having too high expectations for what that's looking like in this season of life. Because oftentimes I will start praying for someone and then I will get distracted by the demands of my children, and then I feel really bad. So I don't know. I just know I want to be intentional with my prayer during this fast, and yeah, I don't want to overthink it, so I am just praying when I can. Yeah, I don't know if any of you can relate to, just the overwhelming thought about how to thoughtfully pray, but yeah, I'm just gonna go about my day. And oh, that's what I was saying, that sorry, I was like, whoop, just remembered, mom brain, that I gave up all of the other forms of entertainment. So a lot of the time I'm listening to like a YouTube video, and I've given that up for the fast as well. And yeah, so all of the idle time that I have, I want to fill it with prayer whenever I can remember. So that's what I am about to do over the next, I don't know, few hours probably. And obviously it's not going to be one long prayer, but that's going to be my focus for the next part of my day. I also wanted to mention that I actually have this prayer guide that I had gotten from a class that I took at my church. That's all about prayer. So I haven't honestly reached for it in a long time, but I'm gonna be going through it and yeah, just looking over my notes, and hopefully this will help. I will say that having this prayer guide really helped. It's been quite a long time since I have opened up this prayer guide. I actually have it right in front of me, and I've honestly kept it at hand ever since I had this fast, which has been a few weeks ago at this point now. But I think one of the biggest takeaways that I got from this experience was being able to have a prayer model that can help me stay on track with my prayers, because a lot of the time I can get distracted by my toddler asking for something, my baby needing a diaper change, etc. And my mind just wanders, honestly. That's why if I am praying during the day, I really do try and pray out loud, because it keeps my brain a lot more engaged with my prayer. Having this as a reference has really allowed me to elevate my prayer life in ways that I have honestly never prayed before, and I think it's a combination of the fasting and having my heart set out on elevating my prayer life. But I definitely have seen and felt the fruit of having this dedicated time to focus and surrendering my prayer life and lifting it up to the Lord, and just having a humble and earnest heart asking for his help for this. It is 10:56 and baby just woke up not too long ago. I made hash browns for my toddler and I.
Mommy.
Yes, honey? Water. So I thought I was recording and apparently I wasn't, so I was just sharing how I am caught up in this legalistic view about what I am allowed to eat, where I'm honestly just feeling guilty about eating anything that I actually enjoy to eat. It's almost like I think that God wants me to eat nasty food, and it sounds so ridiculous. Like, I feel like I'm obligated to eat things that I don't want to eat in order for it to be like a spiritually clean fast, or things that I should be eating because I shouldn't be eating in the first place, but I'm breastfeeding so I have to do it. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully that makes sense. But I'm trying not to have that legalistic view. I was just talking to my husband about it, and he was kind of looking at me like, you're crazy for thinking that. Which I appreciate, because you can get caught up in your own thoughts. But yeah, I'm just having 2 hash browns at the moment. And I just finished reading through this prayer guide, which is super helpful. So the most important or practical thing that I got out of it was just the breakdown of the prayer models, so that I can have a more structured prayer. And I really liked what it said right here. It says, to get started, choose which model you want to use today in prayer. As you pray, focus on the process the model reveals, giving yourself time to pray intentionally. And if your mind wanders, which mine does, use the model to restore your focus, which I definitely do. And I also enjoyed that it said, the goal is to simply get comfortable with different biblical models of prayer, and for your prayer life to become more natural, effective, and enjoyable, which I think that's exactly what I am looking for. So yeah, there's a bunch of different ones. There's the Lord's Prayer, and then I didn't realize that I had been using the Tabernacle prayer model, and now I have a name to it and I have a structured breakdown of it. So I'm just going to be writing it down in one of my prayer notebooks so that I can easily reference it. And my toddler wants to play baseball, and I haven't even touched my food yet, so this is the reality. Hey, we need to wipe your face, sir. This is literally the disruptions that I have literally all day, is he wants to play baseball. Ready? Oh! Yeah, every time I sit down, he wants to play baseball, and it's a very attractive activity, so I have to have that grace. Okay. So I might play with him for a little bit and eat and journal all at the same time. You want me to bat?
Baseball.
Realistically, I'm probably not going to get much of this done, so I'm just going to lay it to the side a little bit, which is very hard for me to do as far as like trying to balance it and give my toddler some attention, not ignore him, knowing that the Lord will understand that I will get to that different time. And like I said, I can use this time as my idle time, so I can actively pray when I'm not like sitting focused doing something that requires a bit more, I don't know, hands-on effort. I can just vocalize it or pray in my head. Right, so we came on a little walk. It's been a while since I've done this because it's been so hot, but we had some time before Ezra's nap time, and I just felt like coming out here. And this is typically one of the activities that always leads to prayer for me, so I thought it would be the perfect time to come back out, even though it's somewhere in the 80s, which doesn't seem that hot, but with direct sunlight, yeah, it can get hot. So anyway, I'm just gonna keep going. Just gave them some snacks and water. Got them right here under their handy shade. Shout out to Tony and Cass for gifting us this stroller or wagon. But yeah, we're gonna keep on going. I don't know how long. It's probably gonna be pretty short, but it'll be a nice 15 minutes or so of prayer and just basking in the Lord's creation, sun, and glory. It's a beautiful day. Morning walks should probably be part of my prayer routine. You can excuse his snack face, but we're hanging out here for a little bit. It's a nice day. It's a beautiful day. This little guy's having his own little snack over there too. It's a beautiful time. Beautiful season of life, honestly. I'm very thankful. Yay! Go down. 1, 2, 3. Yay! All right, we just got back from our walk. My toddler went down for a nap basically immediately. And I was just waiting for Elias's nap time, but I'm getting a headache. I feel just not well. So I'm going to, I just heated up a little bit of leftovers. I'll show you what my leftovers are that I'm going to be eating. Sorry, it might not look super appetizing. I'm probably not going to eat the rice, but I am eating the turkey with veggies and avocado. And I got another body armor. So I'm going to have a little bit of this, drink some water. I did take water with me on the walk, which I was drinking, but I still have a headache. It's probably because of the caffeine, honestly, lack of caffeine, but I'm gonna try and get some rest while the boys are down, and hopefully I feel better when I wake up. Alright, so it is 3:34 and we just woke up from our nap not very long ago, and I'm just going to be doing a liquid fast for the rest of the day because we are breaking fast today, and we have a church service at 7 o'clock, and we'll be given a little treat to break the fast. Obviously my fast is modified. I have been eating, but I just want to explain the whole process and hi honey, and be transparent with you because like I said, I don't see anybody actually showing what it's like. Are you hungry? You want lechita? ¿Quieres lechita? Okay. It's time to nurse again, but I wanted to quickly show you what I am drinking. I'm drinking this Naked Green Machine. So I'm gonna have a cup of this. I like that it's a little bit thicker, nutritious, and yeah, I did also actually want to show you now that I opened up my fridge. We did buy this sipping broth from Costco, which typically I like. For some reason it was making me nauseous yesterday, but it does have 9 grams of protein per serving, which is amazing. I used to drink it a lot when I would get my periods because my milk supply would dip. So if you are able, pick up some sipping broth because it's really, really good for you. I am being forced to play baseball right now with my toddler. Alright, so I'm not gonna lie. I really wish that I had more ability to be in my word and be in prayer. I know. Let's go play. It's the bus driver's turn. Alright, I'm not gonna lie. I wish that I had more ability to be intentional with my headspace at the moment. Now that it's been 3 days of attempting to spiritually fast as a breastfeeding mother, do I advise you to fast at all if you are pregnant or nursing? No, I don't. I have tried to walk a very fine line of figuring out how I can fast from food outside of the non-food related items. I've given up social media, caffeine, just any source of secular entertainment really. At the end of the day, it definitely felt more legalistic than actually trying to do something that was with the intention of prioritizing my time with God. Food in this season of life is beyond the pleasurable aspect of eating something savory or sweet. I gave up eating any sort of junk food, so I wasn't eating any sweets or any decadent items that I usually would like to eat in my day-to-day. I tried to replace a lot of my meals with liquids, and that just ended up giving me headaches that would not go away. I was lightheaded and I just felt queasy. I just did not feel well. I would have hated if I was not able to feed my baby because of this legalistic view that I had. And it's something that I'm still actively working through. I don't think that this experience was fully I still think I have a lot to learn when it comes to fasting and the spirit of fasting, because as I mentioned, I had a very legalistic view. I didn't even want to put like ketchup on some of the things that I was eating, because I was thinking to myself, I'm gonna enjoy it way too much, and the Lord is not gonna be happy about that because I am indulging in food. That was my view of it, and my husband just kind of had to call me out of it and just remind me, hey, it's not about suffering through everything, basically. Definitely a good learning experience, and I am not perfect. I didn't have a foolproof system of how to do this. I've been a mom for 2 years, and I've been out of commission for fully fasting for the last like 3 years, since 2021 when I first got pregnant with my firstborn. And yeah, it's definitely a gray area that a lot of women don't talk about, and there's not a lot of information out there. And I will say that from when I was looking it up, a lot of it pointed to just keeping your normal diet more or less, and just fasting from other things like social media, or you know, like whatever secular items that you can fast from. And of course you can still fast from like sweets, you know, if you drink soda, etc. I chose to fast from coffee, for example. And was that fun? No, it was not. I think that was partially why I had a headache throughout my time. But yeah, I just don't think that fasting from food in this current season of life, while we are sustaining life, whether we are pregnant or nursing or just taking care of little children, it just was not fruitful for me. I still got a lot of time in, and you know, I would say that I would probably be able to sacrifice one meal a day, probably either breakfast or lunch, but definitely not dinner, because that's a whole overnight, you know, of not having nutrients in my body. Especially as a nursing mom, I have to maintain my milk supply. So anyway, that has been my experience. It is 6 o'clock. We have our night service at 7 p.m. so that we can officially break our fast. As I mentioned, I wasn't fully fasting. I still ate, you know, somewhat of a normal diet in comparison to other people who are fully fasting from food. But yeah, I will have to really think about, you know, I would really love to reflect on this experience and what I learned from it, because I definitely needed to study a little bit more this spirit of fasting, so that I didn't have this preconceived idea of needing to suffer throughout this whole time. And yeah, so that was my experience. If you have experienced fasting as a pregnant or nursing mother, I would love to hear your comments, feedback, tips below. Even just sharing your experience, I would love to know, because I feel like I don't really know of anybody that has shared their experience with trying to fast spiritually when they are pregnant or nursing. I have a ton of other faith-based homemaking videos, so if you are interested in this type of content, I would love for you to subscribe and watch some of my other Christian homemaking videos, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.